Okay, so this is the time that we give a short teaching in the morning before we go on for the work and chore period, the beginning our day teaching. And we tend to speak extemporaneously, just whatever's coming up, and sometimes nothing is coming up, so we just sit here quietly for a little while. Sometimes we might have kind of an idea of what we want to say. One practice we do here is mindfulness of the body and different mental states that come up, such as anxiety, that can be felt in the body, and it can be quite helpful to locate where that feeling is and experience that feeling, and then notice the feeling and not the content of the mind, not the thoughts, but go more into the feeling in the body. So that can be quite helpful for calming things down, such as anxiety. So that's a pretty common one. And when the Buddha is talking about mindfulness of breathing in short, one knows I breathe in short. Breathing out short, one knows I breathe out short. So short breath is one way that anxiety can manifest itself. And so we can actually consciously calm that. We can go to that fourth step of Anapanasati, consciously calming the whole body, breathing in, consciously calming the whole body, breathing out, by taking deep breaths to then calm that sense of anxiety, rather than making the breath shorter and shorter and continuing to buy in more and more into the story in the mind that's causing the breath to be short in that way. So coming back to the body, experiencing the whole body, calming the whole body. The Buddha has us consciously calming the whole body. It's not that we're just being with it, so we're actually doing something in the meditation. But also as we go about our day, about our duties and our chores, there can be times where we can stop and consider something before we act. So for example, if we get upset, or in the kitchen somebody tells us to chop carrots in a way that we disagree with or something, and we feel that rage kind of coming up, then we can just take a deep breath and before we yell or whatever, and that can be quite helpful, just that brief pause. Meditation is a lot of brief pauses, and but we don't have to be in a formal meditation posture to do that. We can actually do it at any time. And the Buddha talked about mindfulness in the four postures: sitting, standing, walking, lying down. And he also talked about the sampajanya, or the clear awareness, while stretching and contracting one's limbs, speaking, keeping silent, moving to and fro, going about our personal hygiene or whatever else we have to do during the day. Then we're clearly aware of what we're doing, and what that means is not absorbed into the distractions in the mind. And they're going to be there. It doesn't mean to stop thinking, but it means to not be absorbed into the distractions of the mind. So for example, when we're walking on the trails, to stop while we're walking up one of the trails and say, oh, am I noticing my surroundings, or am I completely absorbed into some sort of story in the mind, or some sort of memory, or some aramana. In Thai we say arom, so like some sort of perceptual edifice in the mind. And when we're absorbed into our head in that way, then we won't notice the birds, we won't notice the smells, the incredible smells of the forest, or different rocks that we might see on the trail, or different trees, or we're not going to notice the bird nest just above our head with birds and eggs in it. So all these marvels in the forest, that we don't notice those marvels when we're too up in our head. So we can get out of our head by coming more into our body, and we start to be more at ease, But two, we start to notice things around us more. We notice our surroundings. And a large part of the training is just noticing what's happening. It's always a good sign when we don't need to be told what to do, but we've just observed and noticed what's the proper thing to do in any given moment. And there's not a clear instruction manual either. You're not going to do it the same way in that situation every single time, but it's going to be based on that intuitive sense of what's proper in the moment, what's going to be helpful in the moment. We start to notice those things when we come back into the body. There's all sorts of wholesome states that can arise when we have mindfulness of the body. So leave that for reflection this morning.